delighted to be joined here in the Mansion House by Dame Colette Bowe, Chairman of the Banking Standards Board. And Dame Colette, thank you so much for engaging with our Business of Trust programme. We've been discussing this morning the civic principles, and I'm really keen and eager to ask you a few questions in relation to them.
Thank you very much for the invitation, and I'm delighted to support this very important initiative.
Well, thank you. My first question is really in relation to those 5 principles that we've been discussing just now. And if you had to choose one principle, which one would you choose and for what reason?
Well, it's a difficult choice, isn't it? Because, of course, they're each important. But given my focus on the banking sector, it perhaps won't surprise you to know that the one I think is the one to focus on is the value to society. We've talked a lot about how banks lost the trust of their customers. Not all banks, but many did. And I think there is a lot more focus now on what are these institutions doing to support the needs of our society. If you're working in a bank or another financial institution, what are you doing to meet the needs of our society? I think, Lord Mayor, that is possibly something we didn't talk about very much 10 years ago.
I think you strike a very clear note, and I would tend to agree that move forward 10 years from the global financial crisis, I mean, being delighted myself by the dialogue this year. Yeah. You articulate that so well, that sense of defining the social purpose of, yes. Of banking and yes. financial services more widely, which is a very neat segue. And I'm not going to guess, but I might imagine where you're going to go. But the next question really is, our leaders of tomorrow, you know the programme, yes. a very exciting programme, yeah. have come up with a series of yes. recommendations. And I just wondered if one of those captured your imagination, for what particular reason again?
Well, again, they're a great set of propositions yeah. from the young leaders. I thought the one that really resonated with me was the one that says, have a clear purpose beyond profit making. Now, by the way, that doesn't mean there's anything wrong with making profits. On the contrary, that's how businesses grow, it's how they develop, it's how they give employment. But actually, what's the purpose of your business? At the Banking Standards Board, that's question 1, and we ask it to the board. What is the purpose of your business? And very interestingly, the answers that come back are always about how we're going to serve our clients, our customers, and through them, our wider society. But you have to think about it.
And is your view that boards are struggling with that, or finding that a sort of healthy exercise? Where do you think the debate at the board table?
All the boards I talk to about this, each one of them, and by the way, these are very different institutions, ranging from major global banks through to very small building societies. And all the boards have said to me in their different ways, you know what, we found that a really helpful discussion, because it made us sit back a bit and think, hang on, what are we doing here and how are we doing it? And that can only be healthy for a board, I think.
You say that and articulate that very well. My third question is really, we recognise that this is a complex agenda. Yes. There isn't a single light switch one can turn from off to on. But if there was a single recommendation that you would offer to the communities with whom you engage on this complex subject of trust, what would it be?
Well, one of the important things that's emerged from the work of the Banking Standards Board, and this is now a slight shift of focus, is of the many, many hundreds of thousands of people who work in this industry, how many of them feel extremely pressured by the demands of their complex jobs. People are doing this at a time of great change in the industry. This is putting people under tremendous pressure. And I think one of the things that has emerged from our work is the number of people who say, I feel unhealthily pressured in my job. My message to boards and to all of those who lead institutions is please take care, good care, of the well-being of the people who you are working with.
That is a very clear message. And that reconciliation through the three answers you've given is very clear. My last question is in relation to this programme, the 5 civic principles that we've been talking through. Can they help to restore trustworthiness and build trust for the future?
I think they can. And as we've discussed more than once, you've got to be worthy of trust. You can't expect people to just give it to you. You've got to make yourself be the kind of business that is worthy of trust. It's not a simple job, but this programme, I think, is a tremendous step on the way.
Dame Colette Bowe, thank you so much for engaging in our Business of Trust programme. It's been an absolute delight. Thank you.
Thank you, Lord Mayor.